Hi, my name is Travis Brady, and I'm doing my presentation on creating an ethical culture for Professor David Christensen's accounting class. And this presentation is based off the article Creating an Ethical Culture by David Gebler. First slide. Ethics. It's important that we define ethics and know what that is. Ethics are moral principles that govern behavior. In recent years, we've seen more emphasis placed on ethics and ethics programs because of recent scandals that we've seen at big corporations like Enron and WorldCom. So let's discuss WorldCom for just a second. Why did these people choose to be unethical? Typically, people don't plan to be unethical, but when they're placed in an ethical dilemma, they sometimes cave to the pressure. For example, Scott Sullivan, the CFO of WorldCom, was known as a powerful leader with great integrity. I don't think people expected him to be part of an unethical scheme. Also, Betty Vincent, an accountant who was involved, said that she never expected to be here, referring to the situation when she was in court. So she once again was referred to as a loyal employee, and she caved to peer pressure from her superiors. So can you stand the pressure from superiors? And we can avoid this by creating a culture of ethics and values. Next slide. So how do we create an ethical culture? Obviously, the right culture is the key. So we have to go beyond the surface. If we just build compliance programs where people just check a box that they sat through a program about having ethical behavior, we'll never get deep into our employees and our managers about having the right values to sustain ethics in the long run. Part of this is being able to feel safe reporting unethical behavior if we see it. A lot of people at WorldCom mentioned that they knew something unethical was going on, but they were afraid to report it or they failed to report it. Next slide. So there are 7 levels of an ethical organization, and I'll briefly cover those. Level 1 is financial stability. Obviously, the goal of every company is to improve their bottom line and have a high net income. If we're not reporting our financial statements in an ethical and proper manner, then that can mislead other people to believe that we're doing better than we actually are. Second is the level of communication that we have. Like I mentioned earlier, do we feel safe talking to management if we know that something is going wrong? Do our customers feel comfortable talking to customer service or our employees? If these are lacking, then this could lead to a company falling into an unethical dilemma. And level 3 is systems and processes. We shouldn't settle for the minimum when we're setting up internal controls and ethics programs. If we settle for the minimum that's required by law, then when people take shortcuts, they'll probably be acting unethically and they'll fall into bad behaviors. But if we set the bar high, when people fall short and cut corners, they'll still be acting ethical and achieve higher standards than is required by law. And remember that unethical behavior will never increase your bottom line in the long run. It's usually for short-term gains that are very misleading. Next slide. Level 4 is accountability. We should take responsibility for the integrity of the company and for our own personal mistakes and decisions. As this picture shows, where half the boat is sinking, what the people at the top half of the boat don't realize is that eventually they're going to be drowning in the water too. For example, with WorldCom, the employees who knew that something unethical was going on but didn't report it had to find new jobs because the company went under. Next slide. Level 5 is alignment. Are our values aligned with our managers and with our employees? If this isn't lined up, then we need to talk to or communicate with our employees better so that we can align our values. Level 6 is social responsibility. Once again, we need to set the bar high and not just worry about our company, but think about how we're affecting other people. Level 7 is sustainability. Is our ethical program that is in place in our internal controls sustainable over the years? Are our values sustainable and will they be able to pass the test of time? So just remember, can our culture be sustained over the years and even the decades? Next slide. In conclusion, which level is your company missing and how can you improve? There's always some way that we can improve, and just remember to set the standard high. Having an ethical culture starts today.